What is up, dudes, dudettes, and all my beautiful people of the interwebs? It is Saturday, so you know what time it is. It is time to go beyond. Welcome to the United States of Smash. I have to say, it has been such a long time since we've been here, almost 2-3 weeks, something like that. But man, does it feel good to be back. And oh man, so much has been going on. I cannot even wait to tell you guys. But you know, everyone's got a little something going on, but they're gonna try and trickle on in here. So me and Neth are gonna hold it down for now. But you know, it's just good to be back for us. So let's go ahead and get on to what we got going on. Of course, your usual suspects here is the resident fraud and Spartan of the group, Mr. Fraud Elise. Fraud Elise.
What's going on, guys? Can you hear me back in the corner? Anyways, Harley's here representing the only other guy here, and I'm going to go ahead and evolve. As you can see, I got a new avatar, so let's get into this.
Yeah, you do. Showing that off with that animated work from the man, Jay Williams. Give some love to the graphics god out there. And of course, he's got it wouldn't be a fraud if he didn't have his Naruto lettering right there and his little Toby mask on his shoulder. Yeah, show that off.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, look at that. But damn, I gotta say, man, every time J-Dubs comes out with some work, it's beyond words. And trust me, when y'all see what the boy's done for me, y'all gonna love it. So we got to get that going here. But as always, I am your boisterous host with the most, Bloody Knuckles, the native nerd and gothic gamer here. But man, I gotta tell you, man, it's good to be back in the good old Lone Star, man. Cali was fun, and being at E3 Live was such an amazing time, dude. But it's good to be home. While it was beautiful out there, like I'm talking, like it was actually real pretty, dude. It was something else. It was sight to behold. God, are they not wrong when they say traffic sucks in LA? Like there was some like god awful traffic that me and the boy Super G got stuck in. But it was something else, dude. Just being out there experiencing everything live was something else. And I gotta say that starting off, like on our last episode before we took our little break for all this, dude, I said very openly that what I wanted to see was a stronger presentation for anime games and Japanese stuff, especially from Bandai. And I'm glad I called it, because Bandai actually came out swinging with some very good stuff that they showed off and what we got to see there at E3 this year. So I'm beyond words on how much I actually called that, Neth. And if anyone doesn't believe me, they go to the last episode we did and look at the very end on what I wanted to see.
All I'm going to say is I had no faith in you, Bloody. I thought that fired from last year was a fluke, and that would be it. But no, they came back with a fucking comeback. You want to talk about what game it was?
Yeah, they announced Jump Force, and the best thing about it is they announced Jump Force at the Xbox conference on stage. And I had to tell you, being live at the Xbox conference and hearing the excitement from the amount of anime nerds, at least who know the big three, that when they saw that crashed Frieza ship, when they were talking about how these worlds are colliding, people were just like, no. As soon as you saw Naruto's like signature gi and his orange circle, everyone started just getting all hype. But as soon as you saw the straw hat for Luffy, it was done. And as soon as you saw Goku's orange pants, the signature look, that was it. Literally the whole theater was just yelling at the top of their lungs, just like getting all excited, dude. I got so hyped as soon as I saw Naruto after seeing the Frieza shit, dude. It was something else to behold.
Yeah, man, I'll be honest. Like, I remember watching it live, and I was like, I didn't recognize the stone statues from Naruto for a second. I don't know how I didn't, but I don't know, I just didn't. But then I saw Luffy's ship, and I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be a One Piece game, and my stream was a little behind everyone else's. And then you see fucking Naruto show up and shit, and of course it's a teenage form because they said, fuck Boruto, let's pretend that doesn't happen. And then you see, like, you know, the fucking Luffy come out and Gear Forth and all that, and they skip Ichigo because he takes L's, and they get Goku instead because he's way more popular. And you just see them going at each other like, oh my god, this is the revival of fucking J-Stars. And
Right.
I was like, shit, because J-Star, I mean, the game itself sucked. The idea was fucking awesome, but the game was dog shit if you ever watched the gameplay of it. And I'm just amazed by seeing this. And then, of course, they have a little teaser at the end, and I'm gonna let you take that because that caught me by surprise.
Yes. So in the trailer, we're seeing the kings of shonen kind of showing up and doing their thing. Besides, like you said, Ichigo, because Ichigo is an L master.
Yeah.
And they were all going to town on Frieza, and we were seeing them, bust out their big thing. We saw Luffy go, I think it was Gear 4. They showed him off in the trailer. We saw Naruto go full on Nine Tails, and Goku doing his thing while they were attacking. And like I said, it was a revival of J-Stars, which concept wise was great, but gameplay, it was absolute
dog shit.
Yeah. But I've talked about this before in the past, is that I've known about Jump Force for a while, but we didn't know what it was going to be, because I actually brought it up, I think it was a couple months ago, that Jump Force was a project that Shonen Jump had been working on for quite some time. That it was something that they were planning on doing for a while. That it was going to be a project to unite all the big shonen heroes that we have known through Shonen Jump and stuff like that, and that it was called Jump Force. But they just never announced what the project was. Originally, from when I first talked about it, is that it was supposed to be a manga series. It was supposed to be a special manga that they were going to be doing alongside Shonen Jump. Kind of what we've seen with a lot of crossovers, because we kind of seen it with I believe it's been One Piece, Dragon Ball, and another one that I can't
Torioko or something like that.
Yeah,
it was a weird show.
Yeah, Torioko. That was another really big shonen, not big 3 level or anything like that, but it was a really good shonen. And those had a crossover for a long time. But Jump Force was supposed to be a new project that they were working on from for a while. But when they announced Jump Force as being a game, I honestly thought that was one of the best things they could do. And it's kind of sticking with what Bandai's done for, is that with a lot of anime inspired games, they do a lot of fighting games. We've seen it with Dragon Ball, we've seen it with Naruto, we've seen it with One Piece. Jump Force really fits that aspect very well, because I got to play it hands-on, and it was running on Xboxes. At the Bandai booth, it was on, I believe it was running on One S's, and at the Microsoft Experience, they were running on dev kits. But it plays phenomenally well. It really is very solid. The 6 characters that they had showing off was Luffy, Zoro, Sasuke, Naruto, Frieza, and Goku. So you were able to use those 6 and play with them. And it's the environments are real big, real nice, destructible. The moves feel great. There's not a need for a lot of combo. There are combos in there, but it's not so heavily dependent on the buttons, because some of like the abilities and powers are like on the triggers and bumpers. So until we see more of it, I can't say too much on how the combat plays, but it felt really fluid and it was fun to use, because it's a 3v3 arena fighter, to kind of give it. But during it was a 3v3. So while I chose Zoro, Naruto, and Frieza as my group, and I was fighting. So while I was using Naruto going down, I summoned Zoro to use one of his cross abilities when I was fighting against Sasuke. So it's real cool to see the character team up powers and abilities. So that was really cool to see. But the best thing about that trailer when they showed it off is after they made the announcement and showed off all the characters that they were kind of teasing, and showed off the Jump Force logo, at the very end of that trailer, we saw a character standing on the edge of a rooftop, kind of there. And for those who didn't know who that was, because a lot of people couldn't, some people who aren't anime enthusiasts like us didn't know who that character was. They confirmed that Light Yagami is going to be a character within Jump Force, and he's going to be having Ryuk with him. So it's going to be interesting how he plays. If they're kind of do what they did with Android 18 and Fighters, where even though she's solo, she summons 17 a lot for combos. So it may play something like that, or while he's there, it'll probably be something more along the lines of like the Pokemon trainer and Smash, where the trainer is, a character, but he summons, different Pokemon like Charizard or Blastoise and stuff like that, So it'll be interesting on how Light kind of plays into Jump Force.
Yeah, and addressing the chat, Jay Long said he's not a playable character. So does our Soul King, who he'll be showing up pretty soon. So watch out for that. But anyways, yeah, he's not playable, but I think the idea is like maybe he's sort of in the background while you fight as maybe Ryuk or something, because they showed him for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, only for the story? Okay.
Only
That'll
for the story. That'll be interesting, but I don't think so, because because typically when Bandai puts out a fighting game, any character they show off is going to have some sort of playability, but it might, like I said, it may be more along the lines of like the Pokemon trainer, and you be more playing as Ryuk and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe he's bringing them together. Maybe it has something to do with the story, but either way, since you played the Bloodie Knuckles, you can agree this is above J Stars, right? Like this is something people will play.
Absolutely. This is something that I feel like especially a lot of Japanese lovers and anime fans will play. This is something that will be really enjoyed. But along the lines of, most fighting games, it'll definitely have a big popularity at launch, have strong support, and then, kind of not necessarily die out, but it's gonna level out, and only the big anime fans, fighting fans are going to be the ones who kind of support it. But it is still definitely fun. It is really easy to get into. Like I said, the combos, at least what they were showing, wasn't too hard to do. The abilities are easy to use, so it feels real good to be able to go into a lot of powers to really kind of show off the power of those shonens. Like I said, when I was using Naruto, it was real easy to pull off the Rasengan, as well as go into I think they had like they were showing off as like you can go into an ultimate form, and you were able to go into like 9 Sages mode Naruto and kind of go off and then do like a quick like ultimate ability. So it was something really, really fun and really interesting. And I think it will definitely have that attention when it first comes out, and that it is definitely something to keep on everyone's radar. Because for a 3v3 arena fighter, it does play significantly better than a lot of others out there right now. Like Xenoverse. Yeah. I hate Xenoverse's arena fighter aspect, but this does arena fighter really well, and it's miles above J Stars.
Yeah, and I got a quick question for you. So, as you know, this is like an anime fan's dream, especially if you're into the shonen anime. Like, I'm a fucking Naruto weeb and shit. So, with that said, even though this is an anime fan's dream, you can see how this is going to also get the more Western audience who may not be into anime because they just kind of want to play a good fighter. They see everyone buying this, a lot of hype going for it, almost like what happened with DBZ fighters. So, if you would have to compare it, what is this like? Because we know this shit is crazy, the bananas that all these fighters are coming together, and like this is even bigger than like maybe a big Marvel game, because at least with Marvel, they're all in the same universe, but this is like universes colliding.
Yeah.
So what do you kind of compare it to?
If I had to kind of compare it to about crossovers, it honestly, like the best thing would be, look at some of the other fighters that we've seen that kind of do that crossover event. Look at, Smash Brothers, look at even Sony with their PlayStation All-Stars, see all their big crossovers. Even if you look at like Killer Instinct or others, other different genres kind of, or different universes kind of come together and stuff like that. It's definitely going to fit into that. And I think that you're right. It is going to gather a lot of the Western audience because of the fact that it has some of the biggest names of shonen heroes that are known in the West. It's going to show off a lot more. And I definitely think that that it's definitely going to pull a lot more of the heroes that some people may not know, because remember that Shonen Jump has been an ongoing manga magazine for decades back in Japan, and they've had hundreds of different shonen heroes, and the ones that we know are always the big three and the kings of shonen themselves. But they've had others in that ran through Shonen Jump. So I definitely think that we're going to see more variety, that it's going to get more people interested in where some of these characters come from. Like Jaylong put out that he'd want to see Yu Yu Hakusho characters or more JoJo characters, and I definitely think we're going to see that. I know JoJo has its own games that have come out, but I wouldn't put it past Bandai and Shonen for putting JoJo's characters in this game, because JoJo's characters have some of the best notoriety. A lot of people know Joseph Joestar, or they know Jotaro from JoJo's and all that. Some of those are very iconic characters. Yeah, and J-Log, Saint Seiya. Saint Seiya is probably one of the other biggest that most people don't know unless you specifically are a Saint Seiya fan. I have a Saint Seiya hat because I love Saint Seiya. But, this is definitely going to have that appeal because of the fact that it is going to bring out the biggest names, because especially for our generation, for our age group and those older than us. Think about the early days of anime when it first came to the West for us, Neth. Of course we recognize Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is probably the most iconic, because that's probably also one of the biggest, like, I laugh because one of the people I talked to on Twitter, Cheyenne, so shout out to her and the girls from Pretty Nerdy and Brown. They talk about how Dragon Ball is like big among blacks and that demographic, because of the fact that while it's very fighty, they make jokes and say that's very ghetto, but it does appeal to them. Just like, Naruto also appealed to a wide demographic. One Piece did as well. And Bleach, as much as we joke about Bleach and make fun of it, it did have that strong appeal way back in the day, that these characters alone are enough to kind of gather people's attention, because they're characters that are known, because these were the ones that really introduced and really brought anime over to the West back in the early thousands and late 90s and stuff like that. Of course, you look at others like Big O, Gundam, Trigun, Cowboy Bebop, and those all have aspects, definitely, but they're not the shonen heroes that really solidified. They definitely helped. But I definitely think this is going to gather such a large attention for this game, because of the fact that it is already so many iconic characters. And look at fighters. Dragon Ball sells because it's fucking Dragon Ball. We both know that. Every Dragon Ball game sells and does numbers because it's Dragon Ball. Even like Xenoverse, even though they're shit, it still sells because it's Dragon Ball, and a lot of people wanted to play more Dragon Ball. And those ones kind of were a little bit of a throwaway, because of the fact that they're like, hey, this isn't, yeah, you're replaying old Dragon Ball stories, but guess what? It's not what you think. It's Time Force. We're going to go play with time and stuff like that. So you get to make your own character and stuff like that. But then look at how Fighters did. It was something unique. It was something brand new. It created a brand new character with Android 21. The art style was phenomenal. It very was homage to what people wanted out of Dragon Ball, and Fighters did numbers real well, and it's still being supported. They're putting out new characters. They're listening to the community, as well as Android 21 now being used in the brand new Dragon Ball anime that's going to be coming out soon with Dragon Ball Heroes. Even though that one's kind of based around the whole Time Force and Xenoverse aspect, they put her in there because of the fact that there was such a strong support. And Fighters is being real solid. A lot of people say that it's a very solid fighter, and it has a lot of competitive potential, like a lot of other big fighting games. This is what helps with that. And that's why I think this game is going to absolutely have a huge presence in the West, because of just the sheer amount of iconic shonen characters that people are going to recognize.
Yeah, and I'm excited for it because playing as fucking Naruto versus Goku and shit like that has me fucking intrigued. And like, even I do podcasts with like Next Gen 720 and stuff, and he knows nothing about anime. Like, he doesn't know what the fuck a Goku is, and to hear him say like, man, I want to check out that game because it looks fun, I'm like, this is gonna be a hit. If you got people who don't know shit about anime and they're intrigued, this shit's about to pop off.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe the next DBZ Fighters.
Absolutely, and I think that's what kind of helps because at the same time, this is what kind of inspires more people to go out and get that interest because they enjoy the game, they enjoy these characters, they want to learn more about these characters. Now, if they do that, they're going to be in for a whole world of, oh my god, binge
Yeah.
watching, but they could do it. Uh, but it's definitely going to give them a lot to be able to listen to and check out and kind of give them a lot of more about these characters. And I agree with what Jay Long is saying out there is that, you know, if some of the Hero Aka characters came out in the game, it may render the new Once Justice game kind of irrelevant. Although I wouldn't say yes to that entirely. Now, if they use a significant amount of them, absolutely, Jaylong. But I think if they used one or two kind of iconic characters out of that, of course, you know, maybe Deku that they could use, and then maybe All Might, and then just like One for All or All for One, then that may be all right. But if they use like the entire roster, that would completely make the other game completely irrelevant in total. But Bandai is kind of good about not stepping too much on their own stuff sometimes, and I think this one kind of proves that.
Yeah, but probably wrapping that up. What's the next topic we got to do? Want to dive into My Hero while we're on that train?
Yeah, actually, and that's a good thing because I'm glad that you brought that up. Is that we've been going back and forth for the past few months on how we all felt about One's Justice for Hero Aka. They had it on play there at the Bandai booth there at E3, and I have to say the game is not bad. It really isn't. It plays fairly well for a arena fighter, but this is 1v1s, similar to what you would see like big areas, kind of like Tekken and Soul Calibur, except these ones are easier to kind of run around all the way, and instead of a typical like facing each other, but just a wide arena to move around in. But the gameplay and the combos and abilities are very solid. The only issue I had with it is that the art can sometimes be very off during a lot of animation and during certain things. Like the gameplay trailers we've seen of that game don't do that game any justice at all, because that is just some horrible ass gameplay. Like
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest, but playing it plays so much better than it looks. The only issue I had with it is the fact of the art just being off at sometimes. Like sometimes the animations would just be off, the facial expressions would just be very flat because it made it look like they just had like a doll that just had like stickers for a face. And I'm just like, okay, well that's awkward. So the art is the one thing that really kind of put me off on that. But the gameplay itself was very solid. And as they were kind of showing off more of how the custom characters work on changing up their outfits and stuff like that, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, you can kind of be ridiculous with it, but I mean, it's no different than what you would see in like Tekken, like especially Tekken 7, how you unlock like all sorts of weird outfits that you can dress up your characters in. It's similar to that vein because, you know, Japanese developers and love cosmetics. They really do. And being able to dress up their characters is absolutely a thing that they enjoy. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But like I said, the only issue I had with it was just the art, dude. It was just something else at times.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is like you convinced me maybe I should try it out, not hate on it, because the gameplay, the reason I was hating on it is because that gameplay,
It was
even
god
you agree,
awful.
looked like
Yeah.
dog stuff. Yeah, it looked awful. But you know, I take your word seriously, so I will consider getting the game, but maybe when it's $20 in the bargain sale bin. That's my stance.
Yeah, Jaylong, that would probably be an accurate comparison.
Like
that it played a little bit like Naruto. Oh yeah, the Ultimate Ninja Storm. It was a little bit like that, but it felt just slightly less refined than Ninja Storm, but it was very similar to that. That would be honestly the best comparison. I would say watch this game. If there's a demo, definitely play it and feel it out for yourself, or definitely wait till just a little bit after launch. But it's definitely not a bad game, and it definitely does need support. However, I think that it's more the issue with it is along the lines of the developers, because while we always joke about Bandai is just a merchandising publisher. Everything that comes out, they just publish. It's depending on what developers they go with. Like with fighters, that's done by Arxis. Everything that Arxis does is Guilty Gear and
Phenomenal.
Yeah, Guilty. They done the Guilty Gear series and Blaze Blue. That's all them. So they're used to making fighters. That's why Dragon Ball Fighters plays out similar to Guilty Gear or Blaze Blue, but it's a very solid fighter. Whereas if you look at other games, depending on what those companies do, those games may not always fit their MO or their past,
Yeah.
Yeah. I will agree, Jay Long. Burning Blood was a horrible fighting game and really worse than Ninja Storm. But World Seeker, oh my God, World Seeker has me so hype.
Yeah.
But I was mad that they didn't have it there. The one thing I was really looking for, they did not have it there. They were talking about it, but they didn't have it to play. They didn't have a demo or anything showing off World Seeker. And that makes me mad because we still don't have a date for World Seeker yet. But World Seeker, I'm absolutely like all over. Like they were showing off on their Megatron, they had trailers playing, and they had one of World Seeker, and it was the same gameplay trailer that I linked in our group chat. And the open world mobility is amazing. You can use Luffy's arms to stretch out and pull yourself across rooftops and on billboards. You can use his little whirlwind spin with his legs to fly around or move faster. The combat looked really good. There's going to be a lot of big fights. I don't know where or which island specifically that they're talking about. So within the story arcs, I couldn't say where it would roughly be or where it could tie into, but I'm looking forward to it because at the beginning of that trailer, they showed off a lot of characters. So we saw the main Straw Hat crew or the originals as I know them anyways, which was Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, and Chopper. And then we also saw Sanji, and then I think Robin was there, and then some of the newer characters. So I know it's later on in the story arcs. I couldn't name them off the top of my head because I haven't kept up with One Piece, but it's definitely going to take place in these much later story arcs. But which specific island they're talking about, I couldn't say.
Yeah, I don't even know if the island's even in the anime or not. If they're just using it as a canvas to do an open world type thing, but let's just call it what it is, Bloody. This is the first time One Piece is finally going to get a fucking good game. Like, goddamn, One Piece. Your games are
Hey, Moss is in the chat. Hey, Moss, there's a link. There's a link in our stuff if you want to hop in for a minute, bro.
Yeah. Mighty Moss, you should fucking hop in. But
yeah, come on.
Those One Piece games are fucking trash.
The fighting games,
Burning Blood, oh. God,
and I've stated that, and I've stated openly multiple times on past shows, is this is the one reason I try to support these anime games is because I want them to get these devs who go back to these older styles. Like these open world anime games are phenomenal. I've stated that so many times because like I remember Uzumaki Chronicles 1 and 2 for the PS2 for Naruto. Those were semi-open world, but they were, a cool fighting game. You can build your chakras and everything like that and your jutsus based on different boards that you get in different pieces and how you can power up your stuff. And then of course, if we look in the 360 era, we had, Broken Bond and Rise of a Ninja, which explained the story of basically like the first 200 episodes of Naruto very well. They're open world and they're fun games. I want more like that. And now that we're getting one of One Piece, that bodes so well, is that this is what I really want to see a developer, especially a Japanese developer, and one who's working with Bandai to really make that push, to put that effort to make an open world game within these big anime and manga franchises, because of fact that is a dream that people want. They want to be able to explore, even if it's a small part of these worlds. They want to be able to openly explore that as their favorite characters.
Yep, and as you said, we should support good games when we have them, because it's only gonna encourage them to keep doing good games, to maybe branch out and let these developers grow, let them make better work, and get a higher budget and everything. It's only good for the gaming industry and good for the IP you love. Now, I'm not necessarily going and saying you should support bad games like Burning Blood. We can agree that game was dog shit. I'm not saying you have to go buy that, but if you're interested in World Seeker, like I'm seeing here in the chat, support it. Help out the gaming industry. Help out One Piece. Encourage them to make good shit.
Yeah, and it shows that there's an interest in the West, because it's always very interesting when they do that, is that they think that there's not always an interesting in the West for these big games, for these Japanese titles, for these anime games. That's why we always see the same thing. That's why we only see Dragon Ball, we only see Naruto, we only see One Piece. They're all fighting games, because those are the things that people are gonna buy and always spend money on. And it's just like, no, we want more than that. That's why, I bought Rise of a Ninja. That's why I bought Broken Bond. That's why I bought the Uzumaki Chronicles, because they were unique and different. They were fun, and I was younger at that time. I didn't care. I would like those games, and the Rise of a Ninja and Broken Bond still hold up. I want those backwards compatible, because I will play the shit out of those as a recap. But yes, we do need to support the good games, like the real good ones. We have to absolutely support. The ones that are trash, or at least that are decent, I'll say the ones that are semi-decent, we should support, maybe not always right away, but we should still support them over time. We have to show them that there's that, want over time. The last time we got a, like, look at Gundam. Now with the new game that they're coming out is Gundam Build Fighters, and seeing more of that, it looks so bad. And that makes me sad, because I love Gundam. Like the last good Gundam game we had was, I think, almost 10 years ago, with Gundam Warriors, which was a very Dynasty Warriors Gundam game, but it fit the what you would expect out of Gundam. And the Soul King himself just jumped in right now.
What's good, Joe?
What's good, Soul? Speaking about Gundam, though, like, it always disappoints me, because, like, the Hyrule Warrior as Gundams, those are fine to me, I guess, but I always kind of wanted a hardcore Gundam, like, arena multiplayer game. Like, like, fucking make these Gundams, like, Mech Assault and shit, and, like, really go hardcore with it, because, like, you have the perfect anime to do with the perfect IP, and you could do so many cool things, like the customization, everything, like, all comes from the anime, and, that's, like, my dream.
Game developers don't think logically.
Yeah.
I'll say the perfect Gundam game I always wanted was, like, them just to make a Zone of the Enders Gundam game. That's it.
Yeah.
Zone of the Enders would be a perfect, like, model for a Gundam game. Or did anyone play what was it, Strike Suit Zero?
No, I didn't get to play that.
Yeah, I didn't play it. I heard about it.
Yeah, I played that, and the, like, transforming from, like, a ship into basically a giant mech that's like a Gundam, that feels very Gundam-esque to me, and I love it.
I've seen the gameplay on it.
Yeah, that game would be a perfect model for like a Gundam game, And Jaylong said that he bought Clash of Ninja at full price, and the game only had like 7 characters. Yeah, I'll say that, some of them anime games being $60 and what they have in them is always sometimes questionable. Like the ones that actually are worth it, those are the ones to get. But there's some that are just like, are you legit right now?
Yeah, some of them they're just being scumbags and using the IP as a cash cow, and that's never cool with anything.
And that's where part of it ties into Bandai, why I give them shit.
Yeah,
that's why they had the nickname Bandai Scamco.
They can do cool things that get Jump Force going, but then again, they also license some of the dumbest shit too.
Yeah, like like they have the potential. They're the only ones who are putting out Japanese games because they own all merchandising rights.
Yeah, like they have to because nobody else can. So like,
exactly that, and that's kind of where they kind of get away with it, is the fact that they're the only ones who are doing it because they are the sole company that has all merchandising rights for all manga and anime merchandise outside of stuff that comes directly from those publishers of like the manga studios or the anime studios. So any video games, any toys that sold in the West, anything like that, all goes through Bandai. They get all that. So they kind of get away with doing the hey, let's just make something, and we'll hire you and make this. That's how you're gonna do it. Whatever, sell it. But then sometimes they do go out and get a good developer and get a good project going, like we saw with Fighters and Jump Force and now World Seeker and a couple things like that. They really have the potential, especially look at Code Vein. Code Vein is another one that surprised me. That game, playing that one, it felt very, very much like Dark Souls. There's no denying that. But I loved the way it felt because after playing Dark Souls, the controls were very natural. It just felt really good. It just had that anime aesthetic because of the art style. But all the monsters were exactly what you would expect out of like a horror manga, something straight out like Berserk or Parasite or stuff like that. But they really did double down on the, hey, you're a vampire. You have these abilities that you can use to buff yourself, to use these different powers and gain more from drinking blood of your enemies. It really did double down on that. And it made the game play so much different and unique,
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's when you give a good developer something to work on, where I think we can agree Bandai's problem is they almost let anybody fucking work on anything. Like they need some quality control over there. I think we can agree to that.
Yeah.
They want the money, man. They want all the money.
Yeah, like some of these games only turn out bad because these developers are either too short-staffed or maybe they're just greedy and don't want to actually put in that much work. But at the end of the day, I think Bandai, while I know it will cost a lot of money to invest more into these things, I think it'll work in the long run because if you get good recognition from games like DBZ Fighters, Jump Force might be another one, you can build a pretty good empire because anime is ready to pop off.
Yeah, I would say the thing about Bandai Namco, they know they can make AAA games, but they decide not to. They make subpar games. Yeah, they make subpar games so they can keep throwing them out as fast as possible once a year, every year, so they can just keep grabbing money. Because fans are just going like, oh, look at that My Hero game. I'm gonna grab it because it's My Hero, so it might be cool.
Yeah, and that's what I'll tell them is that when having gotten to play it, is that it's a very solid built fighter, very similar to Ultimate Ninja Storm and stuff like that. It's very solid. The only real big issue was just that the art and animation was just off. Like I was telling them that it looks like like those old mannequin dolls that you would see that have like no facial features. It looked like that, very flat. And that they just put stickers for their face, like their eyes and mouth.
You can really see that. Like it's like they didn't spend no time to give the characters in the My Hero game any type of emotion or any type of like care. They just say, you know what, make the 3D model, throw it in there. That's right.
And that's the sad part about it, is that while the fighting is great, like we saw that the ability to run around and use the powers felt good. Even we got to see a little bit of the character customization. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, because that gameplay trailer that they have out does not do it justice. I will say that. Seeing it live and doing
I don't know if it's me. It feels like they just took everything from the Ninja Storm 1 and just put it in there. Because, like, for me, why is Deku and everybody just, like, running on walls and shit?
Yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from on that. And there are certain characters that are just like, well, we've seen, Bakugo and Deku kind of run on walls when they were, like, fighting All Might. But there are certain other characters that we haven't seen that too much from. I know Lita can. We've seen him kind of show that off. but not so much from like Todoroki or Shigaraki or Uraraka and stuff like that. But there's definitely
I need to see more gameplay because I doubt I'm probably definitely not going to buy it. But
like I was telling Neth is that while the game is interesting, it's definitely something to kind of wait to see. If there's a demo, try it out for yourself and see how it plays. But right now, straight out the get-go, I would say don't buy it right now. I would say just kind of wait and see a little bit more from it. But like I said, from what I got to play and what I got to see, it was not as bad as the trailers that they put out, because the trailers did not do justice at all. Like, god awful no.
They were doing that with a lot of games in general at E3 for some reason. I don't know why, but
yeah, like the trailers that we had been seeing for it up till then just haven't been, trustworthy or showing off the real aspects of it. But seeing everything live, playing it all live, it just felt so different, and it changed my thoughts on it. But like I said, the one thing that I felt polarizing still for the Hero Aka game was the art, because of the fact that it just felt very flat, that there was no time to really do any definition on the character models in certain things. Like
would I have a story mode or just a
no, they did state that it is going to have a story mode for it. And they also showed off new characters. They showed off Dabi is going to be in it, and so is Toga. And then, of course, we already knew Shigaraki. But they announced Dabi and Toga are also going to be in there for the villain side.
Okay.
So, like I said, it's definitely something we have to see more on. But from what I saw so far, it's not as bad, but it's still something I would say to wait on for now. Like, I hope that they can fix the art, but I'm not holding out my breath on it, especially since we still don't know when the official date for it is. But I can guess that we'll probably see it come holiday season sometime this year.
I think they're not touching that game no more. I think if we don't, as fans, if we don't buy that, that's just going to show them like, oh, maybe we need to spend more time making an actual better My Hero game, because My Hero is going to last forever. It's almost it's almost officially in like the top 3 now. So like,
no, dude, it's like past top 3. Like, it is the new king of shonen, like beyond a doubt. Like, after the last 2 weeks of episodes, dude.
I gotta still get that to One Piece, bro.
Nah.
Let's be honest. Like, maybe manga wise, but that anime it has issues, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it might be more popular than My Hero.
Super G just joined in. He can vouch for it if its manga is better than One Piece or not.
But I'm going off of length and still how consistent.
He's going off like figures and shit.
Yeah, but you also got to think that One Piece has had significantly more years in time than they do. But
that's why I'm still giving them the benefit of the doubt, because they have been running longer.
Yeah, so you're going like purely off of like longevity. So I get that, but like when it comes down to like content and story wise, dude, My Hero is like clicking on all cylinders, bro.
We don't know what My Hero going to be in like the next 7 years, like so.
No, that's very true, but I mean,
I think of it like this: like One Piece still owns the manga side because like the shit happening in that manga is fucking crazy. But anime wise, I think My Hero Academia is taking the whole industry by a storm. Like, that is on Dragon Ball level. Like,
so I say the one thing, that's the main reason why I really don't want to read the manga of My Hero, because that last episode wouldn't have affected me the same way.
Yeah.
And I probably would have been like kind of on like oh, it was a good episode, but it wasn't that great. That episode was god tier. That shit was amazing. But that's why I'm so iffy of reading a manga, and like it's so hard to like avoid spoilers now. Like, I just seen something from like the most recent manga, and I was pissed, bro.
It's like 20 minutes after the episode airs, and it's like all over YouTube now. It's like, god damn, this shit's Dragon Ball. That's what I mean. Like, people are fucking watching this show. It's only getting more and more popular. The fact that I saw a YouTube advertisement of just one of All Might versus One for All, I'm like, god damn. I'm sorry,
Dude,
All for One.
Yeah. The All for One. Oh, dude, we finally got to see the United States of Smash. That's what I'm telling you. And that's what I was waiting for, just because that's actually where we got kind of the inspiration, because we saw that one frame like months ago when we started all this, and that was our original picture. But now actually seeing it animated, oh, dude, it was just so good. But dude, and Neth can account for this. Like this episode right now, the brand new episode that just came out, I had to stop watching it before we went live because it already had me all choked up and in my feels, because it's just so good. Yeah, I was just like, I can't watch this right now. I was like, no, I can't do it.
Did you guys ever watch like people react to like the last episode?
Yes, I've seen so many people doing reactions, dude.
They're crying. I almost cried watching them cry.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, this is too much.
I know, dude. It's that's why like My Hero needs to be done well. Like that's why I'm so polarized with One's Justice, because My Hero is such a great new franchise, and now one of the new kings of shonen. Like it really is, big 3 levels like up there, and that they need to do this right. That's why I was telling him, what we saw with Naruto back in the day with like Rise of Ninja, Broken Bond, and the Uzumaki Chronicles, those open world Naruto games were so good because of the fact that they were unique, and it gave people what they had wanted and wished for with those, is being able to explore those worlds as their favorite characters. And with everything that we've gotten in the past years, it's nothing been fighting games, because that's all Bandai put out with those franchises, with Dragon Ball, with Naruto, with One Piece, and now we're getting an open world One Piece game with World Seeker, and it looks phenomenal. And I believe Jay Long said that it's being done by some of the devs who kind of worked on Assassin's Creed. So he was saying that's why it makes kind of sense on how they would know how to build an open world and the movement and all that. Which, if that's true, that's even better. But that's why My Hero would be one of the very unique series and franchises that could work as an open world game. Because think of it, I
would say the thing about that is, I don't know how My Hero will work as an open world. Like, we really don't know much about the world yet, so like,
exactly. And that's what would kind of help to build that aspect, because like what I was thinking is that you play as the kids while they're in high school, of course they're in UA, and it could be either during like their internship or anything like that, when they have the right to like go and fight against villains, and that you're out in the open world, and that sometimes you'll find crime and stuff like that, and you can kind of help to stop it and do things like that, while also following the story of them going through school. Like there's a lot of potential different ways it could be done and things like that,
I don't know. But yeah. I'll give it a try. I'll see.
Yeah.
Open world My Hero won't work.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't.
Just for the simple fact that they don't have their hero license yet, bro. They can't really.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that it could be different parts, like especially like during the internship that you would have.
If it's early on like that, I mean, they still aren't supposed to like do anything unless they're the person who's doing the intern with them there.
Yeah,
so
and you could have that kind of like ally, like NPC ally with them, like they could show early on, going through that, and then be like them training, and it could be like not necessarily a tutorial, but like the beginning, kind of learning everything and doing stuff. Like there's a lot of different ways it could work out, or we could have them after they graduated and gotten their hero license and stuff like that, and it could show like their growth from there. Like there's different ways it could be done.
I think My Hero shouldn't be open world. It should just be on rails. Like you have like a certain spot you can roam, but it shouldn't be like open world.
Look, me and Jay Long are on the same wavelength here, because then Lois is coming in the chat. Instead of like doing maybe you're based off Deku or whatever for an open world game, how about you just do a My Hero Xenoverse type thing where you make your own character? Because that's the whole point of My Hero Academia. Everybody basically has a quirk. Everybody has a power. So you're going to go ahead and make your own character and have him explore the world of My Hero Academia, where like Deku is already like the new symbol of peace and everything, and you see crazy things happen around you, and you have your own unique experiences depending on the powers you choose to have. Whether you wanted ice, you wanted fire, you wanted like
that sounds dope. But then we go into the risk of them spoiling shit for like other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's
story,
it would be interesting, and it's definitely a concept that could probably work better in My Hero than it does in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Because in Dragon Ball, they literally keep doing the same story arcs that we've done, and they put it under the guise of, oh, hey, it's the Time Force. We got to prevent, the timeline from being changed too much. It could work in that aspect. That's a good idea. Like I said, with My Hero, there's so many different potential ways on how they could do an open world. Like I said, that there is that aspect that it could be done. It just has to find the right mix and how they want to do it. Like they could do like with what Sol was saying, with it being, a certain area that you can open explore. That's what they did with Uzumaki Chronicles. It was open world to a certain extent. You're confined within an area, but it follows an on-rail story that's
exactly what they need to do.
Or they do the aspect of like what they did with Rise of Ninja and Broken Bond. It's that it's whole open world in a sense that you could explore these areas, but you're still following the storyline of the character, and that there's random battles and stuff like that, and Naruto and Broken Bond and Rise of Ninja. But you're still following that story, so you can kind of see that.
The only games I can agree that should be completely open world is these are the only anime that we know fully about almost every city and every place, and that's One Piece and Naruto. That's the only anime that should be open world.
Yeah,
we know almost about everything. We know about every village in Naruto. We know about every island damn near in One Piece. It's so vast. We know more than just the characters inside the world.
Yeah. But you also got to think is that at least with My Hero is that it exists in a real life Tokyo. They stated that it's in Tokyo, so we know Tokyo, so it could work within the different districts and prefectures within Japan that we know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be cool. Like maybe do like what you just described. Like you have like Deku or whoever in New York, but like there is a linear story that you can do, but the open world would be like side quests and stuff.
Yeah, like there's so many different ways that it could be done that I want them to really take notice of what's working for them and what they have to see what we can kind of do next.
To me, though, in order for that to work, you got to let the show go a little bit longer so they can show more of the world.
Yeah,
and that's perfectly fine. I agree with that completely. But I'm saying it's something that they could look at.
Yeah, definitely. They can for sure, especially like with some of the more stuff coming up, because the next arc's gonna be legit, dude. You guys are gonna like the next arc for sure. Like, just touching on that arc,
oh my god, this is completely off topic. But what do you guys think about what Jay Long just said? What if Telltale got a Death Note license? Well, how fucking cool would that be?
That shit would be godlike. And the funny thing about it, I have a feeling Telltale is gonna be doing some crazy things. I think they're gonna, like I already told you guys about. I think Telltale is probably gonna touch up on like Marvel's type of adaptations, like Avengers and stuff like that. So they might definitely touch on like anime as well.
Man, let's see how long Telltale gonna stay in business, bro.
Yeah, right now they're kind of hurting for money, but I would.
Really?
They almost out of business, bro.
Yeah, they haven't.
They better hope they make bank with this Telltale Stranger Things that they're coming out with.
Yeah. I think they will.
They're gonna make bank off of that, bro. They're gonna make bank.
I definitely think they're gonna make bank, but if not Telltale, what could work is like a Quantic Dream style.
That'd be dope too. That'd be dope. I was saying if it can't be Telltale, it gotta be somebody like Quantic Dreams.
Yeah, Quantic Dream would be the second best to definitely do it. And they have theirs a little bit more well, I could definitely see why Telltale would do it, because they have that art style that would match, very manga-esque because of that cell shading. Even still, I think Quantic Dream could be the other.
Quantic Dream can learn how to I guess change their art style or hire people that can help them. So like,
but I think a Telltale Death Note would be fucking solid. That would be
godlike.
That's like the perfect IP to use that type of gameplay with.
because
Bro,
you would have to
that would be crazy, bro.
because you would have to choose how you would kill certain
them or
people
who to kill,
and
yeah.
who to kill, and that would completely change up the story, and that would be so much better. Hell, you could even do after like the death of Light and show like some of the followers of you know, the new god that are still left over, and he finds the new Death Note, and he goes from there trying to continue, you know, Light's
I think that would be better, just to have another story on top of that.
I was gonna say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
just like go ahead like with another character and just like doing like original story, dude, to Telltale. That'd be legit.
that could work too. But like I'll say, that if they wanted to do that, they could do like a continuation, like its own story after what happened with the new god after Light dies, and it shows someone that was still.
These game devs don't be thinking, man. I don't know what's going on at the table.
Yeah, and
God damn it, consult with us. We know what we're talking about.
But sticking with that, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of those Death Note theories that Light didn't necessarily just die and, you know, go to hell or whatever. Yeah, so instead of using Ryuk, you can use that Shinigami that actually looks like Light.
Yeah, we got the bow tie and the tie and everything. Yeah, that'd be dope, bro.
That would be interesting.
Because that Shinigami probably is Light. I'm not even gonna lie.
It most likely is.
That would be dope as hell. That would be severely dope.
But that would be fucking incredible.
Look, yeah, I know. It's got me thinking too. But that's what I'm saying is that this year, that's what I'm saying is that at E3, me and G saw so much good stuff.
He said stop spoiling.
Well, fuck your frauding ass up. I can't believe you haven't finished Death Note after.
Yeah, get out of here. We're gonna fight later. But no, but that's what I'm saying is that me and G saw so much from Bandai, and that I said before, and that I wanted them to make a bigger anime presence, and we saw that, and now that's got us talking about what more we could see from anime and gaming in the future, dude. Like it's amazing. These are the kind of things that we could talk about, and that should be talked about after seeing something big like that, you know. And all of this stemmed just from Jump Force alone. Think about that. That all this just stemmed from Jump Force.
Truth.
Yeah, exactly. Like that, and what they're doing with everything else. Like I said, there's so much potential for that Western audience, for these games, for Japanese games, for anime games, that they really need to expand on that. Like there's so much potential that they can do, that I want to see them do. That there's so many franchises, and I think Jump Force is going to be one of the biggest pushes besides what we saw with Fighters. What Jump Force is going to bring the most iconic shonen heroes over that are going to be, you know, iconic and recognizable for a lot of people, so it's going to show interest.
I think eventually maybe like people like Microsoft or Sony might give them like more money to like actually try to make like a bigger AAA type of anime game.
Yeah,
I think it'll be Sony just because they're like into that, and they know they have a big audience for that, dude.
You want to know what the real problem?
But that's what I'm saying is that
and then they have they own Funimation and freaking Crunchyroll, right?
Yeah, they do.
No, they own Funimation. They don't own Crunchyroll.
Yep.
Okay, I know it's one of them.
Yeah, Sony has shares within Funimation, but Crunchyroll is their own still separate entity,
and will die off.
Yeah, because Funimation is one of the biggest publishers or anything here in the West that kind of leads those Japanese
Hey Nick, I do agree with you though. I do agree with you. I see what you said.
Yeah, that Xbox could throw hella money, and I think that's
dabbling a lot, dude.
They really are. And I think that's what we saw at E3, especially for us as Xbox fans and as well as Japanese enthusiasts and stuff like that, is that we saw such a strong support from the Japanese market on Xbox. We saw that they are pushing for more for Xbox.
And you also seen too that a lot of the games that are being played was using an Xbox controller.
Yeah, and they were being done on Xbox systems. And they were being done on Xbox systems, dude. And like
Xbox had a mean presence at this last E3, dude.
And they had a mean Japanese presence, which is what was great, because me and you were talking about this while we were there. when we were leaving one night is that the amount of Japanese support was so uncanny for an American company, especially for Xbox this year, because we got to see the premiere of Jump Force from Bandai, because we've seen Bandai's been doing some big showcases with Xbox, because last year, don't forget this, they showed off Fighters, and then this year, not only that, but we saw, you know, Microsoft reach back out to Capcom and get the president or the director for Devil May Cry come out and debut Devil May Cry 5, who was excited for the new Xbox and everything, because he was talking about some of the dev kits and what they're using. Like, it shows that strong Japanese presence. And look at the games that we're getting. We saw that Nier's coming over. We saw that, you know, East Origin released a couple months ago, which was a big Japanese franchise. Tales of Vesperia is getting remade, and we're getting the definitive edition of the first game of the Tales franchise coming over. We know Kingdom Hearts. Shining Resonance. Shining game hasn't been on Xbox ever, and we're getting Shining Resonance Refrain, which I think is a remake of the first one, which is amazing. And then not only that, we're also getting Tales of Valkyria Chronicles 4, which hasn't been on for a long time. So like, there's so much strong Japanese push right now, and like, I'm gonna be buying a shit ton of these. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be buying most of these games because I want to show that support.
Question: Isn't Platinum Games making an Xbox game as well?
I don't know. I know that they're porting
their next game is multiplat. So yeah.
So
multiplat. Okay.
Yeah, and you know, and I actually spent the last day at the Sega booth, which is another big company, and we're seeing some of those games come over. Like the only one that wasn't right now is Yakuza and I believe the Fist of the North Star game, which was very fun, by the way. Fucking love Fist
you
of the
don't
North Star.
understand how pissed Sony fans going to feel if Yakuza comes over,
dude. If Microsoft makes a deal,
eventually it's gonna come, bro. No doubt, because I'm telling you, like Bloodie was saying, bro. E3, the Japanese presence Xbox was so big, bro. Like it shocked the hell out of me.
Like it makes sense, but like, you know, these fanboys are gonna be out here raging over.
Of course they are.
And then, not only that, Sega's in bed with Microsoft now, bro.
Yeah,
so
look at this, and look at this. I was talking when I was at the Sega booth, because it was Sega
games, but the newer ones will probably come.
Well, the remakes that they're doing, and that's what I was talking with, is that when I was at the Sega booth, there was Sega Atlas, because Atlas is their American subsidiary who does a lot of the ports. And I was talking with some of them, and they were saying that they've seen a strong support for wanting to bring stuff over to Xbox. Like, they announced the new Catherine remake with the full body edition, where they're adding in a new Catherine into that story. That was on 360. That game was hella fun. I loved it. And it was a very mature story on relationships. If they didn't bring over the new addition to Xbox, that would be like the biggest disservice to them, because I think that was one of the unique games that Atlas could bring, because Atlas is the one who does all their English stuff. And with them remaking like the Yakuza series and the new Kiwami engine, which is what they did 6 in, with like doing with Yakuza 2, Kiwami, and 1, and how they're remaking all of them for the new PS4, like, them not wanting to bring over these games to the Xbox after they do these remakes and the new engine would be a total, you know, stupid move, because of the fact that they had that ability there. They do. Like, the only thing that they had right there at the Atlas booth that wasn't Xbox was, like I said, the Fist of the North Star game, as well as the Persona 3 and 5 Dancing in Moonlight and Starlight rhythm games. But I still think that Atlas might bring Persona 5 over at, you know, a later time. And Yakuza is another one of those really big games, because of the fact that it's a open world beat 'em up. It is a martial arts game, which we haven't seen since Sleeping Dogs. Like, the presence and what we're seeing for the future bodes very well.
All I'm gonna say is, if they get any of these games, it's gonna be like the Devil May Cry 5 effect, where suddenly people have a problem with it. Was it because of the art style change or anything, or was it because it was on Xbox's stage instead of Sony's?
Wait, what's the stage right now?
People were mad about Devil May Cry being shown off on Xbox.
They were
stage,
really
but
mad.
they were saying that they're mad about the new art style or character
Which is
design for
bullshit.
Nero.
Yeah, they just
The
need
game
something to play
it looks
about, bro.
amazing, but you know why
Yeah.
they thought that Devil May Cry was going to be a Sony exclusive.
Yeah,
or at
because
least
of the
on their
rumor.
stage.
Yeah,
And not only that, the creative director or whatever, he came out and did like a separate video that's on YouTube. You can watch him talking about like how the design everything into the game and how much Microsoft is helping him.
I like how
and he was talking about his love
it.
of his love of the dev kits and how great it makes it to be able to adapt for those. Like that's the kind of stuff people need to see, and that's what I think Microsoft has pushed with their support of giving out those dev kits to
exactly,
dude.
and that's gonna help them in the long run when it goes to getting more like Japanese content. Once they get in bed with those guys, everybody like money, bro. So
yeah,
Exactly.
but when you see like.
That was over.
And that also kind of shows the change in leadership, because we kind of saw it in the early days of the OG Xbox to the early days of 360 with Peter Moore, how he kind of had the Japanese support. But then when we had Don Matrick, we completely saw the polar opposite, because he was not wanting to throw money at certain things, but he was gouging everyone. And then now when we see how Phil's leading through the Xbox, we're seeing that change, and I think that's a great thing for fans of it. Now, I'm not saying anything bad, and let me say this real quick though. I want everybody to give up on Scalebound. Don't bring it up no more. Let that thing be dead. No, I say that only because Phil himself came out and said, because he was getting trolled by someone at one of the Q&As at E3, and he just came out flat out and said that the game was bad. The game was terrible. He just said it wasn't good. Yeah.
So.
Someone recorded that.
Trust me, we have firsthand knowledge of it.
Yeah, we know the people that was there at the Q&A was asking him these questions, and the PlayStation troll asked him a question about Scalebound, like, so what do you think about Scalebound and whatnot? And he just they said the look on his face was like a little bit like pissed, because it's like, why are you asking me this question now after we've already discussed this? He just flat out said the game was bad. Like, don't even act. That's why we killed it, because it was a bad game.
Yeah.
So don't even ask about Scalebound no more. They gave up on that shit. I don't know why the IP or whatever is still being relevant.
Because of the fact that they probably that if you think about what they have with it. Yeah, they remember they own the IP, they own the trademark, they own the assets.
Fine, they do something with it, but when they do, it's gonna be a complete facelift, and it ain't gonna look nothing like the Scalebound we see, bro.
And if it is, it'll be done by someone who knows hack and slash, like Ninja Theory. Yeah. But like I said, for people who are saying that, but people who are trolling on it, they need to cut it. And for right now, it's as dead as a doornail for right now. Yeah. But what I was getting at is that we're not saying anything bad about these games being on like PlayStation or only on Switch or anything like that. I'm glad that these games are. We're just saying that some of these franchises, we're seeing the support all the way around, and that we're starting to see the expanse of these games into more markets, and that's better, especially for us as people who kind of push anime and Japanese culture and enthusiasts all the way around. We wanted to reach more, and we wanted to be more to be accessible and played by more people, because some of these franchises.
I want an Xbox. I love my Xbox. I love my.
Oh, absolutely, I do love my Xbox, but I'm saying that I love these games even though they're on PlayStation and stuff, because of the fact that I've played them over there. I enjoy them where they are, but I just want them to
accessibility. It needs to be everywhere, man.
Exactly,
everybody can't afford to own all three consoles or whatnot. So
and it sucks that like Xbox have to pay extra money to just get a game that's not even exclusive to be on a multi-platform.
Yeah.
But now you saying that just speaks volumes of even more about Phil and him trying to do a fan service for us, bro. Because I mean, if he has to go out of his way and pay extra money just to get us the game, who's he doing that for?
Because you gotta realize a lot of these like Japanese games, they're not exclusive.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. But the fact that they're coming over is the big thing, and that's where it matters. Is that it doesn't matter that not all of these Japanese games are exclusive. That is not the point. It's the fact that it's being put on more systems and more ecosystems to get more support. That's where it matters. And for us as Xbox fans, we want to see that more Japanese support here in the West. Even though some of us like Super G, you have a PlayStation. I know Op has a PlayStation. Neth, I believe you have a PlayStation. We all know that some of us all have PlayStations, and we could get those games on our PlayStation, but we also want them on people who don't have both consoles or all three consoles. That's the point of our conversation.
That's the only way that genre, that type of game is going to grow. The more people experience it, not just this little niche crowd only on PlayStation.
Yeah. And remember, some of these games over there that are like with Sega and others aren't exclusive because of the fact that Sony funded them or they have an exclusive contract. They're literally exclusive just because of the fact that they're a Japanese company. It's easier for them because they know Japanese and Sony software. That's how some of those games are staying. But now that we're starting to see the push here in the West of support over there, we might see that more transition in ports and more coming this way. That's where it really is.
Because I mean, in all reality, like you said, they're a Japanese company, and the PlayStation 4 sells well in Japan, where we'll all admit the Xbox sells like dog shit over there, and that's their main audience.
It's basically dead over there, and we're not gonna.
They don't exist over there.
Yeah. We're not even gonna sugarcoat that. It's basically dead over there. Well, there are some people out there who do, some Japanese fans out there who do buy Xboxes and stuff. We know that it's not a selling point.
DOA. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But
you know, another thing too, reason why it's DOA, another reason why it's DOA too, because they don't have those Japanese games to be on there, so they have to play whatever game we play over here. So with those games do coming over, it does help. I'm not saying it's gonna be a huge shift, but you will see added sales, bro, because they do want it, but it's just they don't have nothing that they want for it.
Exactly. That's why I look at Monster Hunter, and I'll use this as the biggest example for us, is that Monster Hunter is only on PS4 and PC in Japan, but in the West, it's on PS4, Xbox, and PC. You know, that's because of the fact that in Japan, they don't need an Xbox version because there's not a strong Xbox presence out there. But over here in the West, there is a strong Xbox market, so they know to support it over here.
Either way, that's still fucked up. That's still fucked up. That's basically saying, all right, people that do have it, y'all have to go get a PlayStation.
Well, you have to realize that development costs money too. So, like, why would you make that version if like there's 10 Xboxes out there?
But they already have that version. That's the thing.
But you still have to put it out to retail and everything. Like, why waste the extra money? Like, that was their thought process.
I guess.
Like, I mean, it sucks, but thank God, like Bloodie pointed out, with the popularity arising in the West for these type of games, like, believe it or not, when people were bragging about Persona sales and everything, that helped you get it to Xbox because they're like, wow, people in the West are buying this shit. Maybe we should make an Xbox version because that's also a popular console out there.
Exactly. No, I wouldn't say, J-Long, that they should only be digital. Well, digital is definitely a good place to.
Exactly.
In Japan, that would make sense.
It just be digital.
There are some games that definitely.
Look at Nier right now for Xbox. Isn't it only digital?
I think it's only digital. And but I mean, like what I'm saying is that digital is definitely something that is definitely the push right now for a lot of games. I don't think them only doing digital. I think there's definitely just going to be a strong advocacy for digital, because I know right now Shining Resonance is going to have a physical, and I know Valkyria Chronicles is going to have a physical, and I believe Tales of Vesperia is also going to have a physical, but they also have digital.
I would say, like, just about the Monster Hunter thing, even way you look at it, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it is. I'm not going to deny that. Yeah. But speaking about Japanese games, can we please, for the love of fucking God, get the older Kingdom Hearts game so I'm not confused?
See, we were talking about that while we were out there. Is that supposedly
they said
right
they're
now,
gonna do it. They said they're gonna do a video that's gonna
they announced the video that they're gonna do to kind of lead the story up to 3.
Yeah, we ain't getting no games. We just gonna get
no.
Yeah, fuck that.
But no. But the thing is that they stated that, and we got to talk about it, and that the talks right now is that Square Enix might release them after Kingdom Hearts 3 to kind of see the support that Kingdom Hearts 3 gets on Xbox here in the West. And if it gets the support, then they're going to release 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8.
That's pointless.
That's what I said. That's what I said, because I said that there's too many nuances in the story, and it's too deep, and there's too many things going on for them to explain in a video.
You understand how many people are going to be confused if they're not
my point. That is exactly. No. You are absolutely right, Soul, because that was the same argument I made. And if anyone doesn't believe me, go back and watch GRG from like 2 weeks ago when we were live at E3. I made that same exact argument that there's too much to going on for them to not do it and release it ahead of time.
Perfect example. Alpha Senju, he's an avid Kingdom Hearts fan, but to everybody else, when that video with him freaking out and screaming, the reveal of Agua, nobody else was like, okay, who is it? I guess he's just evil.
Right, exactly. I got excited when I saw Aqua when she came out of the darkness because I knew what that was entitled or what that was signifying and what it was stating, especially with the fact that she had yellow eyes. Because the fact that no, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna go. It's gonna go too far left. But I know his excitement. But people don't know who Aqua is or the importance of her eyes and everything else because they don't know the story. And that's why I stated that they need to release the story first so people can catch up and understand because there's so much going on.
The game is already out. There's no working to be done. You just have to port the fucking thing over.
Exactly. And here's the worst thing is that even if people just played 1 and 2, they still wouldn't have all the story because there's still so much going on in 358 days.
I was just about to say that because I played and beat the shot of 1 and 2, and I played. I don't remember which one on the DS.
It was probably 358 days over 2.
It don't even matter because I don't remember shit and I don't know shit like what's going on right now. So
because there's 4 other games that people have to understand because there's Chain of Memories, 358 Days Over 2, Dream Drop Distance.
I played Chain of Memories for sure.
Yeah. Or you can, or when they remade it anyway for the new consoles, it's Replay or Replay Chain of Memories or Rechain of Memories, which remakes it. But there's 4 other games that explain so much more of what's going on that people won't know if they don't play those games. Because the fact
I don't even understand why they did those games on those consoles to start with.
I honestly can't tell you the story why they did them on 3DS and DS and Game Boy.
Because it's popular in Japan. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, to sell more units.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a weird decision overall because Kingdom Hearts even did.
I'm not gonna make my original games on a console and then make the sequels on my phone, on somebody's phone. That ain't gonna happen. That's just kind of like what it is. It's like they did the console versions on the PS2 and whatnot, and then they did the sequels to the consoles on handhelds.
Yeah,
I think we all need to agree to one thing though about Kingdom Hearts. That English voice acting was fucking trash. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on?
I wasn't gonna go there, but hey,
bro, no, that literally everything is just so off.
It is bad, man.
Dude, but
if you're gonna get Kingdom Hearts 3, please play it in
Japanese.
Yeah. The only thing that sounds weird is that Japanese Donald and Goofy and Mickey just sound so weird.
Yeah.
Deal with that.
So I was just like, look, I'm okay with them talking.
I'm not listening to that cringy acting, man. I can't.
Yeah, but that is like Naruto Storm 4 bad lip sync. It's so fucking terrible.
Oh man. But dude, there's just so much good Japanese stuff coming in the next few months, and especially for us as Xbox fans, dude. Like, I'm glad to see that there's so much more Japanese support all the way around in gaming, and that we're starting to see so much more expansion. I think that's something we can all agree on, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. So I wanna talk at least one topic here that we had outside of our gush here over E3 because there's just so much more because we can go on forever, but we're gonna get out here a little bit early today. That there's one piece of news that I want to talk everyone about here is that Castlevania, and we're all fans of Castlevania, and we saw the anime that they released on Netflix, those 4 episodes. It saw how amazingly well done it was and very accurately captured the essence of Castlevania, right? And we all know that season 2 is going to be coming here later this summer. Well, there was just a news article probably a couple weeks ago, and this is when we were on break, is that Netflix has already renewed Castlevania for a 3rd season before the 2nd season already has aired. Do y'all think that this shows that what they saw in season 2 that they really liked and want to keep going with it, and that they really like what they're seeing and want to see how long they can go with it? Or do you think that it's just Netflix just doing Netflix and throwing money at everything?
I think it's just them just supporting the people like I follow some of the animators on like Twitter and stuff, and I think that they probably just like what they really produce with this second season, and they just want to keep going with it. So,
all right, Neth, what do you think?
Just like what Sol said, I think they want to support them, but also what you were saying, I think they know the popularity from season 2. They saw something because even with season 1, that shit took off. Like it was a very low thing, and like out of nowhere, everyone's like Castlevania. It's like this is a fucking video game. Like it wasn't that big of an IP, but it's like going mainstream. So I think they know they have a hand on their hands, and they like having that animation whole thing over there at Netflix. I think they know having these animated things is huge for them, and they're going to keep investing into it.
Yeah, they're investing into a lot of new anime and like just like very hidden talents. But like also to add on to the Castlevania, I just think that they know there's going to be a short ass season, so they try to do it as fast as possible.
No, the next season 2 is going to be 8 episodes. They're doubling what
2 hours.
4 hours because
all right, okay.
Yeah, they went from 4 episodes to doubling and ordering.
Are they all like? Are they still like 10-minute episodes?
I don't know.
20 minutes?
I think they're gonna be like 23 minutes long, I believe.
All right.
Yeah, because we kind of saw that with some seasons, especially like with shows like Voltron. Like I just watched through season 6 as soon as it came on because I love Voltron, and that got more episodes than the previous season. But like season 1 was like 23, and then season 2 was like 24, and then season 3 was like 14, and then season 4 and 5 were like 6 or 7 each. Like we kind of saw some shrinking, and I'm glad that they're expanding openly again for a lot of shows.
Dumb shit though, they shrink the seasons. I don't know why they do that.
Yeah, they do that for some shows.
But
Like
they said that next season of Stranger Things is gonna have less episodes than the last one. So I was just like, what?
Well, I think each season has what, like 10 episodes, 12 episodes, something like that.
Like I don't know.
The first one I think had
8,
and the second one had 10, I think. But this one's.
So
I don't know if it's like for like to add more to the production. So I can't really like say.
Yeah, it'll be interesting either way. But I'm glad to see that they got renewed because Castlevania, when that show came out, dude, like it was straight bomb. It was fire.
It
really was.
Everybody watched it.
And then it just ended abruptly when it was about to get so good. I was like, what the fuck?
So I think we're going to definitely see that. But a lot of the other news and stuff that we have, we're going to cover over next week. This one was just kind of a recap for us from E3 and some other things.
Yeah.
But
hey, one quick thing before we get out of here. Anybody watching Cloak and Dagger?
Oh yes, I'm loving it. I'm
gonna check it. I'm gonna check it out tonight. But I'm about to say, did anybody check out Luke Cage?
Not yet. I'm gonna watch
I heard
that.
it was trash, honestly. So
I'm gonna watch that later. No. He was saying that some people are saying it's trash, but I'm gonna watch that later and be able to tell. But Cloak and Dagger right now, dude, is so good. I love the way that
Cloak and Dagger's pretty legit, bro.
Yes, I love it.
It's
it
like
really
4 or 5 episodes in.
Runaways. I can't.
No, it's way better.
It's way better. Look,
it's like darker tone.
Well, some people had issues with the Runaways and the Gifted and all that. I'm liking what they're doing with Cloak and Dagger, and I'm glad that they
watch
all
the
exist.
first 2. So watch the first 2 episodes and then go from there, bro.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that first episode is gonna have you hooked. Like I was sitting there watching it, and I didn't care about it at all. I was just sitting there watching it, and my mouth was just open the whole time I was watching it. My girl walks past, she was like, "Babe, you okay? What are you watching?" I'm just like, "Oh man, this shit got me right now." Like, yo, watch it. I'm telling you.
All right, I'm gonna watch it. I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely something to check out.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't be any worse than The Flash season 4, right?
Hey, look,
that shit was terrible, and I'm a Flash fanatic.
That was one of my favorite shows. I'm like, man, this season just sucked. This season sucked.
This season was the weakest out of a lot of them, and my biggest issue was like the finale was just too rushed. It was very.
Hey man, but W's known for that though, dude. Like how many times that their shows do that. They'll have like a hit season, and then it'll just be like the next 2, and then it'll come back. Like Smallville stayed on for 10 years, bro. That thing need to only be on for like 4. Like honestly.
Yeah. Smallville.
But what's funny is that a lot of the other ones have had straight solid seasons, and then there's always like that one season that just completely burns it, and then it comes back stronger. Because look, everyone didn't like season 5 of Arrow. Season 5 for Arrow, a lot of people didn't like. But what they did in season 6, a lot of people felt that it was going back to what made Arrow so good.
The one thing about Arrow is they can Oliver Queen, he can survive on his own. There's like his character, he's like built into a lot of like just the lore of DC. Like Flash, he's although he is built into the lore of DC, he needs a lot of other characters like Superman and everything to like really build on the story.
And I think that's what we're kind of seeing, the way that they're expanding the Flash and others. So it's definitely going to be interesting how it comes. But yeah, but there's definitely a lot of potential all the way around. And we'll kind of get more into this next week. We just want to kind of do a short episode today, just kind of going over some talks of what we saw at E3, especially for a lot of the Japanese and anime support that we're seeing there. And everyone who's in the chat right now and watching, please tune in next week, because we are going to start doing we are going to do a giveaway from some of the extra swag that me and G picked up there. We weren't able to get the Funko Pops like we were hoping. They were selling out like god damn fast. Like they were limiting people, and it was still selling. Like when we went there was lines so long that it backed around like 2 or 3 other booths. Like we're talking like 3 hours deep waiting for some people.
Yeah,
so, insane, but we do have a bag that we did get from some other places that we're going to give away and do. So do be checking that out for us. We'll go into more of that next week, but from all of us here, we do want to thank y'all for being here and all the people that were watching, because I think we had quite a big return here as well for us coming back. And trust me, next week we'll get it. We'll be back to our over the top news about all things anime and gaming, geeky goodness, and all your nerdy aspects, man. I'm telling you, it's good for us to be back. It's great to be back, and we're gonna have so much fun when we return. So from all of us here, thank you for tuning in, and peace out, and check you later, people.
Peace.
Have a good one.